Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of America in Black and White. Tonight we have a special guest, Mr. Clement Williams, and allow me to introduce you to Coach Clement. He's a dynamic and captivating coach who has spent over 3 decades honing his skills. From his very beginning, Coach Clement was drawn to people via listening to his grandmother counsel couples and watching until he had his chance to shine. He began as an athletic trainer for locals and sports teams, so began Top Cat coaching. With his exceptional ability to truly listen to and understand the needs of his clients, Coach Clement quickly became known for his empathetic and compassionate approach. He went beyond the surface level of physical training, delving into the mindset and emotions of his clients to help them achieve their goals. Coach Clement's passion for motivating others led him to explore the realm of mindset and NLP coaching. Recognizing that success and fulfillment go hand in hand with a strong sense of self and positive mindset, he dedicated himself to helping individuals of all backgrounds unlock their full potential and find light frequencies. Philanthropy in his community is his pastime and enjoys teaching and mentoring our people in financial literacy, connection skills, presentation, and listening skills. Drawing on his extensive experience and knowledge, Coach Clement empowers his clients to overcome self limiting beliefs, cultivating resilience, and develop a mindset that fosters growth and success. His unique blend of motivational speaking and practicing guidance creates a transformative coaching experience that leaves a lasting impact. He praises his ancestors and would not be here without their tutelage. Ladies and gentlemen, I will introduce you, Mr. Clement Williams. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. As we spoke the other night, it's always an honor to get an opportunity to share the love with our people and everybody that's out there, to be quite honest.
So is there anything you'd like to add to that wonderful bio that I just read?
Boy, I had a tear in my eye when you was reading that bio. I was like, wait, is that mine? Well, the beauty is, when you hear someone else speak about, things that you love to do, we couldn't be here, again, like you said, to your point, without our ancestors and just everyone who along the way who helped, who, when we raised our hand and said, hey, I need help, who did that, who didn't say I couldn't do it or we can't do it, told us why we should do it. So for sure, all those folk who were in our lives and in my life personally, that didn't give up on me when they could have, definitely give a shout out to you, and I appreciate you. And that's those coaches, those teachers, and in some cases, strangers as well.
Well, so let's just delve right into this, and let's hop on the biggest aspect of this wonderful evening, and that is we're going to talk about that financial literacy first. So,
yes, sir.
Tell us about financial literacy, and what are some of those nuggets that you'd like to have the audience learn tonight?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking as well. Man, this is a tough subject as well. As you know, we talked about it last night, CZ, for a little while. Every opportunity we get and that I get, I make sure that I engage our youth about relative things. And a couple of the big things that matter, and we're going to do things in threes, that matters is money. And what I found, CZ, kids know how to spend money, but not a lot of them know how to save the money and know really the purpose of the money, right? And so what I do is I want to make sure in a very exciting way to teach them about money with terms like currency. Why is it called a bank? What's the relationship with money, currency, and a bank? And what's that relationship with me? Because so many of us, man, we came up just we didn't have a lot. We had a lot of love, but we didn't have a lot of material, and others did. So when we do get that material, we tend to go extreme sometimes. So I want to help kids understand what money is, why it was invented, what its purpose is, and then we can introduce them to, okay, now you have money, let me teach you how to save a little bit for a future cause.
So let's get into that. So why is it called money, and some of those other things that go along with that you just spoke of?
Great question. So let's just take it back if we can. I'm gonna be very visual. So back in the day, the when we didn't have money, we were farmers, there were hunters, people traded, and all these things, right? So, and usually they used the rivers, which had currents, right? So currency came from really currents, the word it comes from, but currency. That is the term that they started to use when they brought those pelts, and they stopped along the shore. Well, the shore to us is called a bank. So they created this structure on the shore of this river where they stopped, maybe halfway, maybe on the way back from wherever they were going, to leave it. And when they left it, instead of just giving them something written on a note, which it was, they had a literal note, which they call currency. Why? Because this is what they use to move through people's hands when they buy and trade things. Now, we bartered and did those things as well, but that's the beginning of the money, the note. And what did they weigh that money on? You left your pelts. You left that gold that you just found because you had to go back to get more, or you were going back to your family, if that made sense. So when the kids hear that, they're like, wait, you mean they invented this a long time ago? It's not a machine that prints it? Well, back in the day, it wasn't. It was actually written, right? And we shook hands and things like that.
Yeah.
And then you move on to, okay, I have the money. We understand that it's in a bank. Then how does the bank make money? How can they hold my money and then I go back and I can get my money? So these questions come from just telling the story of how currency, and I make them go and research the word. So when we get back together, they can tell me too how they perceive that as well. And then we get into, okay, what does money do? Why do we even need money? Not just to buy things, but don't things cost money as well? So we'll teach them about that, right? So things have a value, right? And then my son always says this, Dad, I went to the store, I had $1, the thing cost $1, I couldn't buy it. What happened? Well, then there's a tax. Well, when you leave your money at that bank, they have to charge you something for leaving the money there. And if they use it enough, they'll pay you a tax as well. And that gets their brain spinning, and they start looking at that dollar or that 50 cent, because, some of us was raised in scarcity, so we don't have a lot. But if we can teach them how to take that 50 cent and maybe save 10 cents for 2-3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, now I got 50 cents again. And all I did was save a dime from the 50 cent allowance I was getting.
Yeah. So how did you first become interested in financial literacy and mentorship?
Yes. The mentorship came first. So my grandmother, and I'm sure all our grandmothers are like this, we call her Big Mama. She just basically took care of all the kids, took care of everybody. She was basically a couples coach too. She took care of the young couples that were married and all these things. So growing up with that and learning how to read body language. Grandma could tell you what was going on with a person and she just saw him walking. Okay. That fascinated me. And I wanted to learn more about people and how to communicate. So I really got involved with it that way. And then younger coaches were very important in my life. And so were teachers. So that impressed me a lot too, how you could just talk to people and listen to them and make them feel better. Obviously you can tell I'm an extrovert. So, I wanted to kind of learn those things. But then since we grew up the way we did in a rural community, we were a village. We all helped each other. So I couldn't go far without a cousin having eyes on me. So you learn how to listen and how to communicate. And the kids that didn't listen well, somehow they didn't do as well. I don't want to put it on not listening, but the old folks knew. They knew the ones they invested in you, and because they saw something in you.
Right.
And I learned that. I picked that up. So I started mimicking that. I started watching people doing that. And then I wanted to teach that because I was the oldest in my family as far as brothers and sisters. So it was my job as well to teach them what I learned too.
Oh, wow. So then mentorship has always been there for you.
Yeah, and I yes, sir. And I say that being the oldest, it's kind of like you're whether you like it or not, you're thrust into it. You're
Yep.
forced into it. So
Yep.
you have to kind of become the epitome, the ideal version of what your young parents, because my parents were teenagers when they got married, you become the epitome of what they see as what they want to become, what they maybe dad wanted to become or whatever, and mom. So I became that person to articulate what they meant, what they were saying. And if they didn't do it, consequently, I was punished for it. So I had to
Wow.
raise my hand and say, yeah, I was the leader that day. I was here with them. So it's my fault that they didn't come back in the house or whatever it was. So you learn leadership, you learn responsibility, and you learn integrity because mom didn't ask me a question she didn't know the answer to. So it didn't take me long to understand that one. I tell you that too. But these things I wanted to help others with because not everybody had both parents in the house.
Mhm.
So, and I had uncles and layers of uncles. So the knowledge that I was getting, and I had both sets of my grandparents. So the knowledge I was getting, a lot of my friends weren't getting it. And I was able to share those things with them. And they were thinking I was like special. They had more money, but I had more value. So
Wow. That's interesting, and I'll tell you, it seems like you and I were both cut from the same cloth because I too am the oldest, and as you say, you're thrust into it. That is actually that's more factual truth than anything.
yes,
The
sir.
thing that I think for our community today is it seems like that's missing because as tight knit as we were, I mean, the bond of my family with cousins and so forth.
Yes, yes, yes.
We never did anything where somebody was out there solo. Everybody was together.
That's right. That's right.
And so it's like now it seems like that's a problem. So how do you ever in doing your mentorship, do you ever try to teach that or ask any of your mentees as to what's going on with that?
Great. Oh my God. Great question. Great question, brother. That is a sore thumb of mine. So that connection piece as well. So hit the money real quick again, just to cover that. Because at the end, I got a course for the kids. I'm going to give you data on cards that are out there to help the kids with the finances as well to kind of learn. And then you watch them grow with the finance education too. But that connection thing, CZ, and we hit on this, our ability to be present, to remove all our limiting beliefs that we formed at 5 and 6 years old, because everybody believed in Santa Claus and Tooth Fairy and all these things until we found out it wasn't. And it
Right.
had an impact. It had an impact on us. So with mentorship is following these individuals. They could be business professionals, but in this sense, it's kids and teens. So when we target community centers in the schools, we're taking each individual and sharing with them, you are an individual. Even though we're learning the same data, you're passing these tests the same way. Each one of you are individual. You see it. You come from different places. You get data. Your sensory, everything is different. But yet, you still can perform and do these things and make these grades, just like people coming from different backgrounds as well, right?
Mhm.
How do we do that? We do that by making sure that that person, that kid who looks like me, that melanated kid who looks like me, I have to stop and communicate with our kids when I see them in a scenario or situation that's not going to be fruitful. It's not invading their privacy, it's not getting in their business. In your village, you talked about same way in our community, our village.
Mhm.
We couldn't go far without an adult we knew that was related to us guiding us. So if we change it and talk to our kids and talk to these kids, because we are parents, we're elders,
Mhm.
we have to engage them sometime as well to show them we love them, to show them you can ask me questions. I see that you have one of your shoes not tied. I want to explain to you why you didn't tie the shoe. I know why you didn't do it. You didn't check it, and you need to check it. If one comes untied, you tie them both at the same time. Why not check the other one,
Right.
right? So it's simple to you and me, but to them, they may not have heard it because their parents may be in a scenario where it is scarcity. They are working all the time. So mentorship to me is love. I have to give this back to my people. We have to evolve, bro. We got to get to that next level where we believe we were first, where we believe flowing through our veins is him. We got to get there. And when we get there, we realize 85% of the world is melanated. 85%. 85%. So our kids don't know that. They don't understand the impact of what that means because they're still trying to count that 50 cents that they have, right? How's that going to take me? So that's where we come in. To tell them the story that we only had 50 cents one time too. It was 10 cents back in the day when we coming up. You know, we got to keep that dime, baby. I need that dime. It's very important for us to share these stories with young ones, and they don't have to be, and I take this back, all melanated kids are our kids. That's what a village is. A village is looking at kids as kids, looking at parents, leaders, elders, that we are responsible for making sure they learn how they're going to integrate into this village, meaning their family. How are you going to integrate into your pod, going back to the finance. So now I got my kid at a certain age. I'm going to integrate him into the pod, into the family. He's going to do chores, but I'm going to pay him for him now. I'm not going to pay him all because I'm going to tax it because I want to teach him about taxes. Then I'm going to give it back to him at the end of the year because I got to give you a little bit of it back because there are some things that you did that were great and I got to pay you for those back. Because I'm not going to have them leaving that house not understanding how they work and how they take your money. You have to pay them for living on this planet. You have to pay them for buying products that says it's 50 cents. You got to pay them 57 cents. Okay. I need you going to the store with 60 cents, not 57 and not 50. Right. So once we can get that ingrained in the kids, because we see them not counting the money properly at the stores, we see it. We see the kids behind the counter not being able to count the change to the people because the machine won't tell them to do it. So your point, CZ, we need to keep talking. We need to start our kids talking again. Get them off these damn devices. Excuse my French.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Get them off these devices, bro, and teach them how to talk. Let's have them read the thesaurus a little bit, to increase the vocabulary a little bit so they can understand the meaning of certain words. Let's teach them how to read body language. Let's share with them. You can't have a thought without it being attached to one of your five senses. So everybody's the same way. So when you say something, somebody who heard it going to attach it to a sense. What sense are you want them to attach it to?
Exactly.
You control that.
Yes. Can you share a defining moment in your career that solidified your passion for community development?
Yes, actually, 3 years ago. Well, we moved here about 5, but the first year that I moved, I met a young family that was struggling. So I have this problem. I like to adopt people. I like to love on people that I see that may be in need. Now you don't know, I don't know it, so I can't say it, but I'll use whatever sensory I have and they may be in need. I like to adopt them. And I like them to know that I adopt them, so they call me uncle. So 3 years ago, the young couple in question got pregnant.
Oh, wow.
And they called me uncle. So they called me. They said, Unc, got something to tell you. I'm like, what? Everything okay? You got a house? Because, you know, I was getting excited, right? And he came. I came to the place, to his house, mom's house at the time, and met his soon-to-be new wife, and she was, in fact, pregnant, 100%. So now I'm budding. I'm going crazy because this is what changed my whole perception of making sure that I want to touch and keep touching our kids' life. When I met him, he was in the store with his girlfriend at the time. That was the same one. And they were buying groceries at this. It wasn't even a real reputable grocery store, so I'm not going to mention that. But they couldn't make it. They didn't have enough. So I put him to the side, like, young brother, just move here. You know, I'm from Virginia. Man, just I'm seeing you. I'm loving the vibe. You're trying to take care of your family, some love. Slip whatever I had in my pocket, I gave it to him, right?
Oh, wow.
He was like, you giving me this? You don't want anything? I said, here's what I want. If that is your young lady, I want you to marry that woman. That's all I want. And trust me when I see you. If I ever see you and you need something, here's my number. You call me, and I'm there for you. So let's fast forward 3 years, 4 years. Now it's the 4th year. Got a 3-year-old. He's still with her. They got their first house, and I'm a business coach too. Started his little lawn care business for him. Got him incorporated. That did it for me. That was it.
Wow. You know, that's amazing, you know, and that's like, you know, that's definitely old school, because those are some of the things that people did in the community.
Yes.
And
Yes.
when it came to the community, because the community raised the kids.
Say it again.
And so that's, I mean, I'm sure that had to be more satisfactory than you can ever imagine, especially when you think about what yesteryear was.
Yes. 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 It's tears, bro. Because you think about it, he didn't have to accept it. These young kids today, man, they're raised on different cloth. They on these devices, bro. They're like this all the time. And the interpersonal skills are not there. So the vulnerability is not there. So the harm is with our young people, especially young males, they don't understand it's okay to be vulnerable. You are vulnerable. It's okay. It's okay. It's raise your hand. It's okay to say I need help. You're going to be successful. You raise your hand.
Right.
You don't raise your hand, it's hard to be successful. Very, very, very difficult.
Yeah.
So if you take anything I'm saying, raise your hand. Ask for help from the elders, from those who have gone through it, who've been spat. My people were spat at. Okay, water hose. Yours too. We knew that. You won't have to know that. Okay, they're just gonna burn books for you. They're just gonna burn your books and not teach you history. So that's our job, right? And to teach you history in a manner that is conducive to our position on this planet. We're not gonna spew hatred. We're not gonna spew any of that. We're gonna keep building and keep teaching our kids. Keep loving. Keep leading, because you are original. Everything came from a person and people who look like you and me. And nothing against anyone else. I just care about my people first. You come first out. Okay? You come first after me. And my people, that's it. I love you too. I don't like some of the stuff you do. So don't keep it moving.
So can you tell me, you know, just when you look at both your mentorship as well as your financial literacy, how do you mesh the two together when you're with clients or you're talking to young mentees? How do you mesh those two together?
Yes, thank you. So, and that also meshes the philanthropic side of it as well. See, you and I know, we spoke. We know that we have the same bloodline, and we know we're human. So I want people to know, and kids to know, it's okay for you to feel good and feel better around your people than you feel around anybody else. I don't want nobody touching me unless they look like me. When my doctor looks like me, my dentist looks like me. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't feel good if it ain't somebody look like me touching my kids, touching my wife. Okay? Because the numbers show bad things.
Yes.
I ain't saying you're bad. I'm saying bad things happen when you touch my family.
Yes. But you're absolutely right about that.
You hear me? You call it what you want it. So with me, mentorship, philanthropy, financial, it's all to protect my melanated youth from being touched unnecessarily by people that mean them no good. They're not teaching you. Not all. We're not saying all anything. We're saying we are vibrational people, universally inclined. And we know it's put in us to know when you mean us harm. I want them to be able to tap into that. I want them to be able to tap into the frequency that they resonate in, and that people who are for them resonate in as well. And then you're open to learn about money, to learn about the 3 things money does, and the only 3 things money does. Then I can tell them without fear, President Nixon took gold back in money. Now money ain't backed by nothing but people's opinion. So, you know, I don't know how much you should put in money right now anyway. So,
see, I mean, you know, hey, the question is there.
Right.
The question is there.
It is, right? It comes. So philanthropy means if that person I'm mentoring cannot, because it's going to take away from his family or home, I will take care of that person from a philanthropy standpoint, from a love standpoint. It's very important. CZ, we've been there. We got a certain place. We can afford to pay for this family's grocery today, right? We can afford to slip him a 20 or 50 today to keep that pride, to keep that level in his family that she chose him as the head of the household, that he can still keep that up front, going in fronting, right? Without that's going to bring harm to the family. So we, as elders, we have to do a lot more of that. We have to do a lot more of that and not ask for anything in return. They ain't got to say thank you. Most time they cry, but we cry together. But they don't have to say that. They need to learn. It's okay that men can say I love you to each other, and we're not creepy.
Right.
Okay. Some of our young men, bro, they leave home. They ain't heard I love you from a male. They only learn it when they get in a situation where it's not correct. You hear me?
Right.
So, and then learning all this, because it's money, right? It's still the pursuit of money. So we can't have our teenagers worried about money. If we can, we got to teach them this in the house. And if I feel they don't get it in the house, I'm going to give it to them wherever I see them, officially and unofficially.
Wow.
Free. For free.
So what inspired you to start your journey in financial literacy education?
Being broke, literally being broke, having that time in your life where you have done because you were raised in scarcity. So when you got money, I overdid it. Instead of having one pair of sneakers, I needed 10. Instead of having one nice shirt, I needed 10. Okay? Because I didn't want to wash clothes. I wanted to keep up with, not the Joneses, because I didn't know no damn Joneses, right? I want to keep up with the Griffins. Okay? Just being real. Sorry, bro. I'm just, that's it. So when you drink enough water sandwiches, that's when you drink enough water when your stomach extends past your belt line. Usually you full, then you can go to sleep. You might wet the bed, but you can at least go to sleep on a full belly. Yeah, you get a little tired of that. So I had to figure this thing out. And what I was doing was, all jokes aside, I was spending more than I was taking in. See, because you're living in scarcity, they don't teach you about that. They don't teach you about that first credit card you get. You think it's free money, right? To that interest, which happens every day, by the way, if you don't pay it in 28 days, it happens every day. So now that $10 you borrowed, next time your bill comes, it's $17, $18. You're like, wait, what? What the hell? That was I bought $10 item. Why is it 17? You got to pay a lot of people. Remember, I told you that bank that bank is beside currency. It's beside a current of water. A lot of people come through that thing. They're using your money for a lot of people. You can't even get your money all the time when you want it. That's how crazy a bank is. I put my money in. If I go and take too much, they won't give it to me. And it's mine.
Right.
So I got to be careful with banks. So we got to teach them slowly in chunks. Keep it simple. Tell stories. We learn in stories. Our foremothers and fathers taught us in stories. That's how we learn what them fools will send and what they're going to do to us, because we sung it in stories, or we made popping sounds or codes. Hell, they think they were doing Morse code. No, that was black code. We were doing that way back in the day.
Yes, exactly.
They call it cornrows. I had to tell some of my other friends this. They literally had corn hidden in the rows of the hair so our people could grow their own food and not starve. So yeah, we did a lot of things with those corn rows, brother.
Wow. How do you approach mentorship in your community work?
It's kind of like, I think I mentioned it a little bit, but let's expand on it. So it goes with the philanthropy work, right? So I'm at a place now where, and I'm sure you are too, the money is just, it happens because we're doing what we love. It's not a need thing anymore, right? So what I need now is to answer the call, right? I need to answer the call. and the universe is calling me to help our people. And I've been doing this since I'm a teenager, really, for real, since a teenager. As I had brothers and sisters, and I had to do babysitting. We had to do everything, in our culture like that. You did it all, right? So I couldn't wait for my hand-me-downs from my uncle. They were a little big, but still, I couldn't wait for them. And that's just my history. I don't want my kids, and I call every kid I meet my kid. I don't want my kids to replicate that. I don't want them to duplicate water sandwiches. I want them to know that there's adults that look like me, that look like you, that can show you a way to make it based on the way you want to make it, not based on the way he wants you to make it. So we start with love yourself first. You come first after me. So mentorship to me is my way of giving philanthropy, giving back, giving black, I say. That's on my shirt, giving black. That's the way I give black. There's every kid I meet, I can tell you, I do not walk past my people without speaking and saying something. 100% of the time, I don't care where we are. You got to be committed to that because you feel better around your people than anybody. I don't care. People are lying if they say they don't. Even the Sambos feel better around us. We can't trust them, but they feel better around us.
So in your community, like just in general, when you're just, let's say if you're not working and so forth, how do you get out into your community to continue to, just meet with people, to know people, learn people, and do the gathering of making the culture itself, or shall I say the village, that much larger? How do you do that?
Absolutely. Well, we know this, that your connections with people are ultimately it. So soulful connections, how we communicate and build rapport with people are it. It ain't what you know, it's who you know, and what they know about you. So the community is built by others who believe in community. And that's the only people I surround myself with. So when I'm talking to, and I have contracts with Mercedes and these companies, and I'm around a lot of people, we're in hospitals with doctors, my wife's one. And so we are training a lot of folk to speak to us. And what I mean by that is people want everything to kind of be their idea, right? So if I'm out, let's say at the park, we're out at the park or went to the gym. In fact, I talked to you, I was at the gym. I actually talked to 3 people at the gym. They want me to talk to their kids at their church. So you cannot be shy about being black. You cannot be shy about being original. You cannot be shy about saying Jesus is black.
Right.
So nor can you be shy about saying, I can help you with your financial literacy. I can even help you with starting your business. I will even help you and stay with you while you're beginning that business and help you with your marketing if you need it, with your electricity, with your plumbing, if you need it. You have to get the word out. So I've gotten the word out. They know Coach is A, if I got it, you can get it. B, if you need me to pick up a hammer or paintbrush to come out here and talk to you while I'm trying to give you this financial literacy, I'm trying to give you this connection theory, this NLP, help you reframe your thoughts, then I'm there too. So you have to pay the cost, CZ. You got to raise your hand and say, I want to help you, but I need to help you on your terms. Where are you eating lunch today? Where can I send some Johnny Johns just to come talk to you? So in some cases, if they're reluctant, I buy them because I buy them lunch. If they're not, I'll follow and watch where they go to lunch. And I'll go and sit with them or sit by them, bump into them. And then I give them my little 30-second elevator speech. And then they invite me to wherever it is. And this is real talk. This is how I do it. I met 2 people in Vegas that are from Columbus that I'm going to meet with. You just have to talk about what you're doing and how you're trying to help. You'll be surprised how many people want to help too.
Wow. What are some common misconceptions people have about financial literacy?
People believe, my biggest thing is people believe that credit cards and banks are good. They don't use them as resources. They use them as an end all. So what I mean by that is if you can think back to your first credit card and you had $1,000 balance $1,000 limit, right? And you're like, wow, $1,000, man, I can't wait to see what I'm going to do with $1,000. So the non-education from the parents, it's not their fault. Let's just say that right now because they didn't get it, right? This is generational that you have financial illiteracy. I think is more important. So that's generational. It's very important for us to raise our hands, even in church. So I attack churches personally. I'm just no, please don't get mad at me, guys. I love churches. I'm not against churches, but I attack them personally because you have my people's ear the majority of the time in a controlled setting. So why, not that you don't, I know you do. I need that to be at the forefront. I need that to be at the forefront. Now, don't just take my money. Teach me how to utilize money so that I can get to that next level. Because if I get this credit card thing wrong as a young adult or as an adult, it's going to take me my whole life to get out of it because you've been taught to pay the minimum. You haven't been taught the 28-day or 30-day cycle of a credit card. Exactly. So that's the biggest misconception. People don't understand the cycle of a loan, cycle of a bank, and don't know what interest is. They don't know what compound interest is. They don't know what simple interest is. Simple interest is if I pay it off, I don't have to pay anymore. Compound is if I got a 2-year term and I pay it off in a year, I'm still going to be obligated to pay that interest for that next 12 months too. So I don't want compound loans because they should be illegal now, but I don't want those. So that's the thing, CZ, is really once we get their ear, there's so many different layers to it. And based on what situation they're in. I won't speak to a person who's affluent, as far as got money, parents have money, that kind of thing. I won't speak to them that same way.
Well, just as you say that, there's just something I just want to just delve into another part of that. And that is, I know when you started out and you preferenced your statement that, you don't want people in the church to think that, you don't love churches because you do. Now, my personal opinion is, and I know that, again, I don't want people to think the wrong way.
Right. You have to say that, right?
Those places have not done their job since 1980. They have not done their job.
Facts. They even got tithing wrong. They even got that definition wrong. They use it as they accept money as a tithe. That's not what it is.
Right.
And so it got our people confused. It really has our people confused. And so I feel like and thanks for bringing that up. Thank you. And I think you said you were. we have to do a better job in our churches. We do. If we're going to go there, we got to do a better job to help with this literacy for our kids, at least, because we expect to get the truth there. Mm-hmm. That's your safe place. And if you're not getting the truth, what exactly are you getting?
Ooh, no, ask the question. What the hell are you getting?
What the hell are you getting if I'm not getting the truth in the place where you told me I can go and be safe and get the truth?
Exactly.
So,
so now they've become mega businesses, and I think that's the thing that's the one thing that really rubbed me the wrong way, because now it's all about the money, and if you ain't got some money to give to me, then you're not welcome, and that's not what supposed quote unquote their Bible says.
That's right.
This is what the person that's in charge of the incorporation says that.
Who has no stake in the game, no dog in the fight at all. In fact, that person may not have any type of enlightenment at all. They're just a business person, probably.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And yes, I feel that pain too. My sister-in-law was over, and I just mentioned, we were just talking about this. Where else do you have to go and learn something, a book? Mm-hmm. Your whole life,
right?
If I gotta go, I'm just my grandmother, 97, bro, 97. I'm like, if I gotta go anywhere, I didn't think I could be married 50 years. I'm just being real. If I gotta spend 50 years learning something, bro, it ain't for me to learn it. Something ain't right.
Exactly.
Right. So you're right. It's a business. It became a business, and I think that it gets missed sometimes in our community. I don't know what's happening in
Those
other
are
communities. In our community,
Mhm.
it is like putting, okay, here's what is, we got to put this out there. I want you to picture this. Your left foot is stuck to the ground. It can't move. The
Mhm.
only way you can move is walking in a circle.
Mm.
Now you moving, but you ain't going nowhere.
Nowhere.
So to me,
Mm-mm.
our churches listening to the colonizers have caused our people to be stuck in the same place, going round and round, listening to the same thing over and over, not elevating, not spiritually being in the universe. Like we should be gaining that by reading the Bible
Mm-hmm.
for 50 years.
You know, I think when the repressor turns around and has ingrained whatever that is that's in here for some people, that this is what you should be doing. You should be focusing on what we call a religion. I call it a cult.
It is a cult.
I call it a cult.
It's a cult. It's a cult.
But to know that somebody can actually get into somebody's mind or get into people's minds that deep that they're actually saying, I've got to go here every Sunday. I've got to hear this man say this or this woman say this, when this man and this woman is committing everything that's against that same principle.
Yes.
But say, oh, that's my pastor. I love the pastor and the first lady.
Yes.
I'm sorry, the Lord.
No, I'm sorry too, Mike. Yeah, I apologize for laughing. First ladies, pastors, don't get mad at me. I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at the game. Listen, I come from a place where everybody in the family is a pastor. 8 kids, all I'm pastors. Now, I know God could have called. He could have called them all. I don't know. Just it's very hard, bro. It's very hard. It's just very hard, right? And so to be elevated, I just got to look at the result of the parishioners going to a certain establishment, because that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
What are they gaining? What value are you getting from that? I can tell you how much money you're spending, and I can tell you the community is not getting it.
Okay.
And I can tell you, if tithing wasn't about money, why, and ask your pastor that, why your pastor is asking you for money? Mm-hmm. And why are they keeping 90% of it and not 10% like they promised and giving the other 90 to, the people who need it? Why are our Black people suffering, struggling from what they did to us, but our own community? Why are they suffering from our own Black churches, not mega churches? Mm-hmm. Millionaires, people got planes and elevators in their house. And I elevate in your house? Yeah. And now people are suffering. So set my people free.
You know something? We have to talk about that. That's another show. Yes, because, sir. I mean, that right there is deeply ingrained in the slave mentality that totally takes everything from a person that says, you got to come here and I need to get this money every Sunday, and this is what you're throwing out.
Yes, you can't come back to my church unless you tithe.
You got to tithe.
You got to tithe. You can't come to my church. You can't listen to the word of God, which he said was free. Right. And not to be done, not to be told in a structure. But you can't come back here unless you tithe.
But just moving away from that kind of stuff, because that's got a little heated. But I just want to tell you that I think it seems like for the things you're doing in the community with the philanthropy and where you're including this this financial literacy and also doing the mentorship, that is all about building communities. Yes. And that's the thing that people should be looking at.
Yes, sir.
That's the purpose. And again, let me just say this kind of fast, because that's the purpose of this show. That's the purpose of this platform. And that is to actually build communities and not tear them down.
Absolutely.
But I'm trying to, the thing that I need to get to, and that I'm probably gonna, I don't know, I guess I'll say I just need some help with, is understanding why is it that people say that when you tell them the truth, that the truth is a lie, but the lie is the truth. If I lie to you, you love it, you suck it up. If I tell you the truth, I'm wrong. How is
Right.
that?
So, in my opinion, and thank you for asking that, and I do receive it. So, in this logic, so a snake normally wants to hang around other snakes.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's a snake that maybe not like him or her, he might eat it, right? Because it doesn't look like him or her.
Right.
Short, people want to like people and be like them. Most people lie.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't show that you lie too,
Mm-hmm.
that person psychologically cannot like you
Oh,
because he knows you're better than him in that scenario, as
mm-hmm.
far as honesty.
Mm-hmm.
So most people, not most, let's be fair, a lot of people want you hooked and want you like them. This is why when you go with people, you go out somewhere, like
Mm-hmm.
mom tell you, go by yourself, don't go with nobody. You do something bad, you better do it by yourself because they're gonna tell on you.
That is true.
They always say, I want you to come with me. I want you in here with me. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Because people want people to be like them. That's why they do it, bro. That's the only reason they do it. They are trying to get you down to their vibration.
Mm-hmm.
And now they got something over your head. Now they can control you. Totally can control you. So the world is mediocre. And I'll say it this way. The world, well, colonists made people believe it's okay to be mediocre when we're kings and queens, we're scientists, we built universities, we did it all.
Right.
We were not mediocre. We
And
can't
still
be
are not.
mediocre.
Right.
It's impossible for us to be mediocre. Everything we do, we shine.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
when they try to pull that stuff, they are pulling you for mediocrity. That's why the people, that's why they keep us in one place. They try to keep you in one place. They let
Mm-hmm.
one make it so you can see, okay, he's just a little light, he got a little chance, but one, right? He got just one. So
That slim chance.
that's a chance, bro. Like lotto, like lottery. Same
Right.
type of thing, right? So lottery is a lot about life, how they see us and treat in life. So
Mm-hmm.
we just want to have our kids playing chess, not checkers. We
Mm-hmm.
want them to read the Art of War, not John ran down the street and chased Billy's dog, right?
Exactly.
We need to start reading things that are going to help our minds know that we control it here. Limited beliefs, not
Mm-hmm.
connecting with people.
Mm-hmm.
They getting us to be on these devices, keeps us away from connecting. So we learn the truth, feel the truth, and then together we resonate the truth. It's undeniable, but they keep us in these little pockets. We can't do it. Okay. So we got to get the kids out of that. We got to let them know, come to us when you want information.
Mm-hmm.
And I need you to value it. So next, at the end, this on the money side, why do I spend my money for that bag of chips? Because I only have $1 that says 99 cents. I already know it's going to cost me $1.06 because it's 7% tax on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have $1.07. I need to leave my ass out that store. Just go ahead and turn around. Okay?
Right.
Because you ain't got enough money.
Right.
That's facts.
Right.
If I have to ask that person, they're going to think you ignorant. Worse, they're going to think your parents didn't teach you how to count. Okay? And this valuable lesson on financial literacy pops up again because they didn't know there was a tax on a tax, on a tax.
Mm-hmm.
So that part is a constant learning. That part, you and I got to constantly grab our nephews, kids, anybody we see that's not doing the money properly, counting money improperly, all that stuff. We got to engage them, not in getting in their business. I do it because I'm the happy guy and I make it funny. And then I'm dropping these nuggets in their head and they're like, wait, can I get in touch with you? Because I've never heard that. I'm like, just because you ain't heard it don't mean it ain't real.
Right.
Santa Claus ain't real. You heard about that, didn't you?
And see, that's the thing. That's the thing. It's because, I think that, from, like I said, from the era in which you and I were born and raised, it's like everything has totally flipped on its head because the kids, you have to teach the kids now how to critically think.
Yes.
We knew how to critically think, which is why we were held accountable.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's okay to think, right?
Right,
And thinking wasn't just for smart people. It
right,
was, we can think. You can think, not even thinking, you're thinking, you know? So, and and again, scarcity, living in a scenario where it's stressful. Most of our kids have PTSD. All of these things are in us. This is why when we don't have it, or when we get to a certain point, we got to wrap our arms around them and say, I understand. I totally understand. Let me tell you a story about me. I drank water sandwiches, and they bust out laughing. Water sandwich? You can't do a water sandwich. Because I want them to know I was just like you. But what I did not do was stop. That's all it was. I did not stop. I didn't care what he said. I didn't care I had a hole in my shoe. My Converse had a hole in the shoe right on the corner because I kind of walked on the side of my thing. I didn't care, bro. I put newspaper in that joint. I was still walking in them damn Chucks. You hear me? I'm just saying. Until I could get some more, I was still walking with them Chucks. So we just got to do more. CZ, we just got to do more, bro. And we got to hold ourselves accountable as well. Like you said, kids don't understand that yet. They don't understand that they can think more than 2 seconds. They can write things down and ponder on it overnight. They can go raise their hand and ask for help. So they can learn to think about things past what they see, because it is past what they see.
exactly.
We got to get them there for sure.
So, how do you believe financial literacy can empower individuals and communities?
Okay, beautiful. So now we have 10 kids and families that parents have accepted that it is their responsibility to teach their kids about money. Now, these kids, since they're 9 and 10 now, let's go like that, they're 9 and 10 now, the parents said, you know what? It's our job. We're not going to send them to coach anymore. We're going to get them this green light card. We're going to get them this FAMZoo card, which allows us to attach this to our checking account, which is going to allow our kids to monitor their money, monitor their spending. It's going to allow me to monitor it too. And I can send them advice while they're doing it. And it's going to track it so I can create and learn their patterns. Once I have these patterns, now I can teach my kid about financial awareness. Buddy, you're going down a slippery slope. You are a person that can't be in a store with money. Exactly. You will buy everything you see. Money is a lot like liquor. It don't get old. It will not spoil. You ain't got to drink it all. You ain't got to spend it all. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to help you. From now on, when I pay you your allowance of $5 a week, I'm going to hold $1. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give you this dollar in 6 months after it accumulates. So, but I'm only going to give it to you if you can tell me how many dollars you're going to have in 6 months. Oh, wow. If I hold $1 from you from the 10th, right?
Right.
So now I'm teaching them the third lesson in money is saving it so you can get what you want. We're going to make it so you use money to get what you need. Mm-hmm. But you got to save money to get what you want. Mm-hmm. And so if I can get that lesson to them, that three-step lesson for money is a value on money. So because it's a value, right? $5, let's say. Then you go and buy something. Money is for putting a value on what you're going to buy.
Right.
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 So it's $5. You got to pay that, right? Mm-hmm. Then you ain't got enough money though, because it's $5.35 because it's 7% tax on that. Mm-hmm. So now you got to save some money. So the most important one, now I got to save this money to put it away. Mm-hmm. So, right? So, because I got to pay the tax on stuff if I'm going to use all my $5. Exactly. Or I could get something a little less than that, 7% less than that. And then, you see, that's critical thinking. That's them thinking outside the box saying, wait, hold up. Why do I got to get some at $5? Ma'am, could you take it off and make it $4.93? Bam! You graduated, buddy. You graduated. Right. So this is where we need them. We need them there. We don't need them. We don't need to hold their hands all the way. We need to teach them how to fish, as it says. And in doing that, now we create a community of like-minded little kids. They talking, going down the street now. How much you got? How much you got? You know what? Let me borrow a dime. Well, okay, you're going to give me 11 cents tomorrow. If you don't give it to me tomorrow, you're going to give me 12 cents on the next day. This boy talking about interest. He charging this fool interest. We just told him about the, oh my goodness.
On the dime.
On the dime. You hear me? They're talking about their allowance. They're talking about, Mom, don't even give me $5. I don't need but $2. Keep the $3 to save that for me. And she said, you know what? You're right, because we're taking a trip this year, and your portion of the ticket is $22. If I did this, I'm gonna have $44, so you'll still have $22 to spend when we go on vacation as well. What? Yes, I want that. Let's go. So now we're teaching them to plan, to also save, and they're talking to each other in the community about how much they're saving, how much they're spending, how much they're not spending, how I figured out how to pay the taxes. You got a whole vibe now. Everybody is doing this, and they're literate as hell. They can count their money now just by looking at them. I'm sorry, ma'am, that ain't the right change. But you didn't look at it. No, I saw you count it. You know what I mean? So that's powerful, because now these people understand credit. These people understand borrowing. These young kids won't have to go to a stranger and borrow money. You know why? Because their little group, their little team, their little tribe, their little pod is going to loan it to them.
Yep.
They're going to loan them that down. They're going to loan them that quarter.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And they're going to get older. Now they're becoming grown like us.
Right.
Guess who they trusted when they were ready to start their bank, or when they started this business? They don't trust them people they grew up with talking about money, learning about money.
Exactly.
Respecting money.
Yep.
So that's how you do it. It's a grassroots thing, and it just snowballs, because when they see how much money is saved, when they understand why they charging them taxes, when they understand that when I loan somebody money, if I ain't got it to give and you tell them to pay you back, they gonna give you a tax on it. They got to pay you some interest. You don't loan money for free. You give money for free. You don't loan money for free, bro.
Exactly.
Right.
Can you share a success story from your mentorship program that stands out to you?
Yes. Okay. So I have. I can probably. He did a review. I can send you a review, but he did a review. So this young man, he was literally pushing his car with his wife and his son down the street in front of the gas station. And I happened to be I have an electric car, so I didn't need gas, but I happened to stop because I'm invested in this gas station, right? Electric car, but it's in the gas station. I know it's crazy. No one was helping this brother, and it was a brother, and he's on a busy street. And I'm like, wait, this is Morse Road. It's 1, 2, 3, 6 lane in some areas, but and pretty fast. So he's coming to the store. So immediately I'm going to help him, because I'm like, he's struggling at this point. Now, this brother has a mental issue that he could have literally passed out around the street. I didn't know that at the time, but I know that if he's going to make this turn, he's not going to be able to push this car by himself. So I run out there, help him. He get his breath. We got everything safe. His wife, his kid is safe. He said, I've been pushing this car for a mile. No one helped me. I'm like, bro, you've been on Morse Road for a mile? And I know where that is. It's really busy. He's pushing his car, bro. And he's in tears now, because I'm like, bro, I could not stop unless I got there to help you, bro, because I saw your kid and your wife. They got to see us help each other and love each other. So I gave him a hug. We hugged. He said, man, I felt your spirit. He said, can you tell me what you do? I said, well, I help people in need, man. If I'm an OG. If, young people need something, I help couples. I just try to rock with them, make sure y'all communicating better so you can raise your kids. He said, oh, my God. The Lord brought me to you. I'm having trouble with my wife. I'm having trouble. I can't think. I can't do certain things because I have this disease and it's mental. And my grandmother had it. I'm like, and I told him what it was. I said, bro, it's something else bothering you. Tell me what it is. He's like, he said, I'm afraid she doesn't love me. She don't feel like I take care of her. I'm like, wow. Now I'm touched. I'm done. I'm like, whoa. I said, man, this is hard. I said, we need to talk. I need to help you. I couldn't let him go. So went to do what I did, came back, saw a message. He texted me, so I called him. So for 3 days straight, I coached him. So talking, getting it done. And long story short, 2 days, 3 days after that, called me because I had to go away. I came back because he didn't have time. He didn't have time for it. He didn't have time for the kids. He felt this way, that way. I had him do love letters. Tell the kid, tell each one how you felt, tell her how you feel, tell her what you want to do, tell them what your fear is, tell them what you're afraid of right now. So he did all that. Bro, they are so strong right now. He's made the he's made the boundaries. He changed his diet because I told him go live. I need you to get your vibration right. We need to get off this dead food because it has no frequency. You need to eat live food. Get off of this dead stuff. Get your kids on this live stuff. Got him on it. And now this brother is thriving. His family is thriving. He just moved his oldest son into the house. He's 19. He had moved out. He repaired his relationship with his dad. So that's why I do it.
Wow. You know, that's truly inspirational. And I really hate to hear, and I can just imagine, you know, and just seeing something like that, you know, that has to touch anybody. And I know that, you know, it's kind of like two sides to a coin because, you know, people are so afraid of other people, you
Yes.
know, that it's like, do I or don't I?
Right.
And so this is the point where I guess what we're all going to have to start learning to do is that a person that's in need is a person that's in need.
Yes.
And, you know, just a chance is always a chance. But if you feel comfortable with folk that look like you, there's nothing that should actually make you just afraid of actually going out to help them.
Absolutely. That's it. I mean, and what it does, and you can be selfish, right? You can be selfish with this because it enriches you. It feels so good. You're giving back universally like he told us to give,
Mm-hmm.
right? It is impossible for you to walk past someone look like you and not feel a certain way. It is.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't speak to each other, and we know who they are.
Yep.
We don't do that. We can't do it. We are obligated.
Yep.
It is in us, predestined in us to be that way. And I just saw Black leaders say, "Thank you, Coach. Thank you, G Mood." But in us is strong, right? I know we joke around and all of this stuff, but for real, the power is in us and us telling our stories and us
Right.
helping each other and us
Right.
hugging each other, feeling each other. That's the power in us. That's
Yeah.
what they can't touch us with that.
No, they can't.
That's that God blood. That's that God gene that we have. We call it. You know what I mean?
Look, as you said before, that real kindred king spirit.
Yes, it really is. And not being braggadocious, not being any of that. This is for us. Some
Mhm.
things are for us, CZ, and some things are for other people, right? So we know when we speak to us and we know how we look at each other and even our shakes, even the shakes that we do, the hugs that we do, that's special. No one can duplicate and emulate that.
Exactly. Exactly. So, what challenges have you faced in promoting financial literacy in underprivileged communities?
Just that. Sometimes we can get distracted because we are using our eyes to see the disdain that they're in or the displacement, and instead of really looking at them as a piece of clay. So, what I mean by that is instead of going, you walk into a house. The thing we do usually, we make a determination if that house is clean or not, and if that house is not clean, we think the person is not clean.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, it just really is. But with our kids, because I go to so-called underserved communities, and again, I do that because I want them to see someone not on TV, not riding by, just stopping and actually asking them, "What can I do for you today? What actually can I do for you?" And sometimes you get caught up into they may not have necessarily clean clothes. They may not have brushed their teeth because the situation they're in, eating is more important, right?
Mhm.
But without teeth, you can't eat. So now you have a lesson. Now you can teach them the importance of hygiene
Hygiene.
or hygiene, right? So you have to look for opportunities to help. You cannot go in and think they're going to ask you because they've been conditioned, they've been trained, they've been told you don't love them, right? That's
Mm.
all they see is people who have it don't love them. They don't come and stop, right? So you have to stop first, and then you have to gain their trust. So you gain their trust by just looking them in the eye and talking to them, not looking around, not seeing how they dress, just looking at them and truly talking to them, listening to them, and
Mhm.
hearing their story. All of them got a story. Oh my God, they all got a story. And when you hear it, then you can piece together how you can help them. You don't know. You can't just, he may not need money. He may need food. He may need a bath.
Mhm.
He may have a cavity. So you give the people what they need, right?
Right.
Because it ain't how much you make, it's what you do with what you make.
Mhm.
And you're not going to leave this planet with a great spirit if you try to take what you make.
Mhm.
So that's what I live by.
So, how do you tailor your financial education programs to meet the specific needs of different communities?
Kind of like a little more detail. What I was just saying is, so you got to do it like a little. Obviously, you got to do like a little questionnaire without really doing a questionnaire,
Mhm.
because visually, we're prejudicial in nature just by seeing things. So you can't go and think because this person lives in an affluent neighborhood, for instance, like my neighbor, well, one of my neighbors. You can't think just because he lives in a neighborhood I live in that he understands money, that he's okay with money, right? So it really comes down to you have to be in that person's presence. You have to be in that space. You can market, we can market, we do little flyers every now and then. We do internet every now and then. But word of mouth and being in the, like I said, I won't mention the word, but the first word we talked about earlier.
Mhm.
But I put it on them. I punk them out. I'm like, it's your fault. It's totally your fault. So that I can't help them because they're too busy going to see you. Um, so you got to give them what they don't have, but you got to add value first. So first, I got to give them something free,
Mhm.
right? So I have to sponsor a race. I have to have free water. I have to have poetry reading. Just whatever is happening in that community or that vibe in that community. That's what I try to do. Not try. That's what I do. And then once they're around me, in front of me, it's a wrap. So
So, is that like a vetting process?
not necessarily a vetting. It's vetting eliminates. We don't eliminate. We don't want to eliminate anyone. There are different levels to the game. So maybe we're putting them in that box that we need them in so that we can help them get to the next box. So yeah, vetting. I guess you could say vetting to see what level, to see my intensity. Do
Which
I
box you're going to put them in?
exactly? And how intense am I going to be? Am I going to do it more professional? Am I going to have my colonized voice, or am I going to just be, my authentic self? Right? It just depends on, who I'm trying to impress and who I need to feel comfortable, because the message is going to be the same. Now, once you get me, you're going to get the message.
Right.
So, however I get to you, you're going to get the message. And usually, they just want more of the same,
Right.
right? It's just getting there. The hard part, like you said, how do you do it? Is I'm non-conventional. My daughter is a crazy influencer, and she teaches me all the time stuff. You taught me some things just talking to you, just about your podcast and how you do things. G Mood, Black Leads, all that. I have a coach, Richmond Dean. So all of that comes into play when you're crafting your message. So it's really my message, the gear that I wear, the statements I make. It's all for a purpose. It's all stated for a purpose. It's the art of war. I don't do things haphazardly. Everything I do has a motive, and it's to get you to respond, because that's the only way you have communication is with two-way responses.
Exactly. In what ways do you think mentorship can help bridge the wealth gap in society?
Oh my goodness. That is the only way we're going to do it until reparations happen and we get everything back. Is we have to have folk like us who have a plan and system in place that allows us to frequent that level of monetary exposure as much as we want, right? But with that comes a responsibility too. Who have you gotten there as well? Okay.
Mm.
You not gonna win and keep this if you think it's just for you. You have to get somebody else. This is a sine wave. This is the way the universe goes. It doesn't go like this. So you ain't going like that either. You're going like us all, like this. Now that wave can be like this, right? But that dip is big too. So
Right.
it is, once you start learning the system, you have to bring others into the system, and not a system per se, just the exposure, the mindset of what's really happening and how you're going to do it with your community as well. Obviously, it helps to have your tribe and your community. But once you find a person that is in the know, you get another person in the know. Because like mine, I'm more powerful. Like I wear this copper, right?
Okay.
So like minds are together. Like you and I, right? We hit it off, right? When we first like reached out. I mean, I rarely reach out to people and respond to people, right? But it was just something about what your mission was, and I felt it, and that the vibration was cool, it was the same. I'm like, we're on the same vibration. That's my man. I ain't even had to really talk to. I was like that with G Mood as well, with Black leaders. I was like, I ain't got to talk to this brother. As soon as we started talking, it was like, wait, what the hell you been? Right, where you been, bro? Where you been? So it's really, so I really feel it's that, and it doesn't make it right because I say it. Just in my learned opinion, it's based truly on us getting like minds, getting a mastermind. Remember that word, mastermind. That's a person in your vibration, had like thoughts. Usually it's your wife. If it's not your wife, it's a best friend. But y'all a mastermind. You think alike. You're telepathic almost with each other. That's that next level of vibration, by the way. So it's very important that we do that, because we're gonna lose if we don't get this finance right. We're gonna lose. We're gonna lose big, because people are gonna keep knowledge away from us, like not knowing the dollar is not backed by anything. You need to know that. You need to know that so you don't keep all your money in dollar. Invest in gold. Okay. Invest in some stuff that's real. The dollar ain't real.
Exactly. How do you measure the impact of your financial literacy programs in the community?
That's a impactful. It's like an impact statement as well. So here's how you know. So, and this is baby steps, because again, scarcity means people are shopping and going to convenience stores, right? So that means you have to go there as well, because you want to see if the lesson is learned. So with my kids, I actually follow them, and I understand, and I deal with their parents as well. And here's how we do it. So if I've done my job, they're not going to frequent these convenience stores. They're going to start going to grocery stores and markets, because they understand the value of money a little better now. It takes them farther if I get more than if I get one, right? And we are constantly in touch with each other. Obviously, they send you all types of updates on how they're doing, but you monitor it by and I test them, by the way, and I got a course, so I send them a course and they do it. And it's really just walking them nugget by nugget through the financial process. And then just inquiring and talking and following up with them and seeing how they talk to me. It's totally different, bro. It's totally different. They are actually talking in terms that bank use, right? And one of their goals, they have to get a green light or a FAMZoo card so that they can start this process. And if they're old enough, like 16, 17, like my son, he has to know his banker. I take him in and introduce him to a banker. And we go field trips to banks so that they can understand how to operate in a bank. And we let the tellers and people talk to them so they can talk to them about what goes on in a bank as well. So they're not virgins. It means nothing to them after that point, right? So that's how, me personally, they want to know. They call me and tell me. They send me all types of things, and it's just great when you talk to them, because when they're fluffing, if they don't know. You just inquire, and follow up is key, of course. That's mandatory to do that, because then they know you care. You don't follow up, it's a one-off, and I don't want a transactional relationship with anyone. I want a connection so that we can talk about your past. I can tell you stories about me and why I'm hurt or why stuff matters, because I want to know you care and I want you to know I care. So we can really say things that won't hurt each other because we both care about each other.
Exactly. What advice would you give to someone looking to start their own financial literacy initiative?
I would say to do it. You're not going to get it done by thinking about it. You're going to get it done by doing it. And here's what that means. That means before I do anything, I have to make sure, A, that I understand what it is that I want to do. Because financial literacy is a deep, deep subject. You may want to go professional and just be a planner, right? So you got to consider that. But if you want to impact the community better, you may not want to get paid for it. It may just be one of your disciplines. This is just one of my disciplines. I don't want anyone paying me for what I give them on financial literacy. I will not accept money for it because this is something you got to know. And you are my people. We are the first. We wouldn't be money if it wasn't for us. So why don't we know about this damn money thing? So very important. You have to be passionate about. It's our job to teach our kids about money. It's our job. That's you. You don't even teach them about sex. So let's not go there. So at least you can teach them about damn money. Okay?
Sex and money.
That's the two things gonna kill them. That's the two things. They don't get that right. It's gonna impact their entire life forever if they don't get those two things correct. And these are the two things our parents don't talk about enough in the house. And the church ain't talking about it. So we have to do it. And we got to get these young parents who are teenagers having kids who still don't know what the hell they're doing, right? And even young millennials, we need to make sure they are aware that these subjects have to be addressed early with your kids.
Right.
Early. When they're kids, they need to know about sex. Not when they get to be teenagers and adults. They need to know about it as kids because it's a normal function.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we just got to be aggressive and tough love. 100% tough love. Take the gloves off. Let's make sure our kids are prepared. Hey, I tell my son, you can be mad at us all you want to, but guess what? You're not getting in this world and F up. You're not. You're not. I'm not your friend. I am your daddy. Okay?
Oh, boy. Oh, see, again, that's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother show.
Stop being your kids' friends. So,
where that came from?
I don't know.
Be a child friend.
Yeah, where the hell that come from? I don't know where it came from. You my what?
Boy, back in the day, talking about some calling your mama girl. Okay, you're gonna get slapped in the mouth.
I mean, yes, quick with the quickness.
How do you stay motivated and inspired in your work, especially when faced with challenges?
As an NLP professional, I know this is gonna sound crazy. I'm actually ahead of the challenge before it becomes a challenge. So before that word actually comes out of my lips, I've already addressed that that's where I'm going mentally, right? Okay. How do you do that? So it's called deconstruction. You have to see the end first. For instance, if you don't eat after you eat breakfast and you don't eat anything in between breakfast and lunch, you're going to be hangry when lunch happens. Mm-hmm. You already know this because your brain has already taught you need a snack in between breakfast and lunch. So if you miss it, you're putting me at a deficit. Your body is going to go into something and you're not going to like it because I'm not going to be able to control it, right? Mm-hmm. So what I do, you just have to set it up. I teach like I teach my kids. See the end. See the result of not doing whatever we're trying to do now. And tell me about it. And let's go back steps. Let's deconstruct it. So I deconstruct in my mind, if I don't get this done, if I don't get that link from CZ, I'm not going to be able to get on there in time and make sure my mic is working and make sure everything's correct. I got thing in my teeth. Make sure everything is cool, right? So I teach you how to go back, and you can do it because you mentioned it earlier, we put ourselves in boxes.
Yep.
Especially men. We
Yeah.
put ourselves in little compartments. So all I need to do is help me understand what compartment it's in, and then I'll teach you how to activate it.
Right. Right.
That's it. That's how I do it. 100% of the time. And and then you said stay motivated. Let's just finish that. Now, on the motivation side, that's a choice. Okay. This is a choice. So I am a extrovert based on what certain people call it. No, I'm not. I got the God gene. So every time that sun touches me, it activates me. I am extremely happy. I'm telling you right now. It's almost like I hit some, you know what I mean? Some ooh-wee or something. I'm absolutely happy because I truly believe that the sun does activate my melanin. It does energize me, and we're batteries. So I truly believe that. And the foods that I eat too. So you ask, I eat live food. My family eats live food. That, because we're alive, comes from a live earth, and that keeps me up. So there are certain types of food that keep you up. The sugar, the sugar in the food, the fruits, and that naturally keeps you up. So I try to stay with the foods that naturally keep us up, CZ. I don't eat dead food. If I do, I don't eat a lot, right? Eat a little piece here and there. Let's be fair to all our audience. If you eat dead food, that's like meat. You just can't eat a lot of it because it's dead. It don't vibrate. There's no frequency coming from it, right? Food that comes out of the earth is alive. We know plants are alive. So even when you pull them out of the ground, they're still alive, right? Until they get limp and turn colors, they're still living. So when you eat it, it's still alive. That therefore it can fuel you because you're alive. Right. And depending on chemically how it is, it can either bring you down or push you up. So I try to stay with those foods, and I teach that as well. Part of being a coach as well. I got to work with this, but I end up working with the whole body. So it's a discipline that you have to have. It ain't just one thing. It's multiple things that go along with a human body and mindset that you have to work with. It's layers.
So what role do you believe technology plays in advancing financial literacy efforts?
I think that is going to be the coup de grace. That is it. I mean, it's nirvana. That saves you. It saves me. If these particular, like green light, you guys, green light, look that up, Google it. That card alone teaches so much and gives so much that as a parent, I can rely on that card because it gives me all the data I need to understand how my kid is spending money, how my kid understands money. Do my kid respect money? Is he living in scarcity, or am I giving him too much? Right? And I can remove it, take it. I can put allowances in there that are timed, that can trigger to pay him when he does it. Those types of things. So I'm teaching them integrity, being honest. Not gonna pay you until you do the job. Don't click, send the money to you until you complete the job. Those type of things. So I like that automation that does that to help us. And it also alerts me so I can learn how he's doing what he's doing to help him.
How do you incorporate cultural sensitivity and inclusivity in your mentorship program?
First and foremost, I'm here for the melanated people of the world. So let me just put that out there, and it's on my website. So that lets you know right now, every human has melanin, by the way. That's the trick right there. But the 85% I'm talking about is the one that that can be activated by the sun. So those are my people. And I have no shame in that. But consequently, 60, 70% of my people don't look like me that I coach in the same breath. Okay. Now I want you to wrap your hands around that a little bit. So, and we talked about this a little bit. So my ultimate goal, and this is why I offer many challenges. Thank you, Richmond. So I offer many challenges so that I can give my people something free. I want to give you something free. I want to fix something for you for free. So you can see that I am, and it's not about me, but that I am about helping you. Because if I take 5 days of my time, 5 hours of my time every day to give you science that's going to help you, I want you to see I'm doing that because I love you. That's what I have to give back to you. That's my gift to you.
Mhm.
And most clients, they say, I want more of the same. So they'll sign up for more of the same.
Oh, wow. I got to say that you are truly inspirational.
Thank you.
And I hope that you never lose that.
Thank you, brother.
Can you share a lesson you have learned through your work in financial literacy and mentorship?
Yes, I can. So, and this is just being real. We got to like give the truth, right? So before I was comfortable with my knowledge on the literacy side, so in 1988, I'm gonna try to go back and get that. I got my first American Express card. Okay. Now, I don't know if y'all know this. Black folks didn't have American Express cards back in the day like that. I mean, it was few. It was few. It was just, you didn't even know you could get a damn American Express card. And here I am, 21 years old. And I got my first, was I 21? Yeah, close. Got my first American Express card. So check this out. I didn't know that you got to pay that thing in 28 days. Anybody tell me that?
Exactly.
Bro, I had I'm going to use $1,000. It may have been 750 CZ. I don't know what it was. All I know is I spent it. You hear me? I spent it. Bro,
Right.
when the bill came for $750 or $60, whatever the limit was, because you have to pay it in 30 days, so it'd be zero.
Mhm.
Of course, I did not have that money. So the lesson was that interest that hit me after that, it took me 2, maybe 3 years to pay for $750 or $800 lesson.
Wow.
Because I still didn't realize I could have paid it off. I took that $45 or minimum payment, whatever they said, and I paid that. Right?
You got the green one, right?
Yes. And I said, wait, I'm going to pay it off when I get my income tax. I lied to myself, told that. Still didn't do it. 3 income tax later, I finally said, I'm never going to pay this daggone $1,000 off unless I do it. So I humility, I borrowed the money. It was about 2000 by then. I borrowed the money and paid it off and just paid back the credit union. Yep. Never forget it. Langley Federal Credit Union loaned me the money. So thank you, Langley, in Virginia.
Yep. Hampton, Virginia.
There you go. You know it. Yes, sir.
How do
You know exactly where it was, too.
Yes, exactly.
I couldn't stand being in line in that place, man. God knows it was the craziest building. So,
how do you engage with local businesses and organizations to support your community initiatives?
the good news is now Columbus. I got to give credit to Justice City on that. Now it could be the most conservative state in the world, but the businesses definitely rally around supporting good causes. So anytime I go, whether it's Mercedes-Benz, whether it's Kroger, Meyer, who else does a good job with us? Really, all of them. You go there and you have the right story. Okay, I'm gonna say that. You can't go there with no BS. If you have the right story and you're, because Caesar, people going, they ain't prepared, bro.
Yes.
You're going there with the right pitch, with the right mission, and truly look them in the eye. I say this a lot. Please look people in the eye. Let them see your soul. Let them see you're telling them authentically. You are here to help kids and help people understand money so they can come spend it in your store. You don't want them coming here without money stealing from your store. So my job is to help them understand how far their money can take them and then come in and make sure they can pay your taxes as well. Okay? So please help me help this school or help this community center or help this Y because they're underserved community there. There's people look like me, right? And we buy more than most people who don't look like me in the world. So could you please help us with, and it's a wrap. They're like, oh my God, sure, absolutely. Why didn't you ask before? I'm like, because we weren't at that stage yet. Now we're at that stage, and this is a great thing. And your name will go on our paperwork when we sponsor this race or when we do this cookout or whatever it is. So we got to do the things that they do. We got to be in the community where they are. If I see if I see a cookout going on, especially if it's in the hood, I'm stopping. I'm 100% stopping because I know what I got to offer, right? And I know when I'm going to leave them. And that's where a lot of our people together And that's where you can be philanthropic. You can truly be. I mean, they see me rolling up in an electric Benz. First thing they're gonna think, this guy, he ain't trying to, or whatever. And the first thing they know is, hey, bro, you ever drove an electric car? Take the keys, man. Go around the block. Get your license? You good? Go ahead. That's the kind of guy I am. And because all of this is ours. So I expose our kids to those things that are going to be yours. So you can implant and imprint in your mind, these are the things I'm going to have in the future. It's just I got to get there. Now I'm seeing the end. I'm making them see the end. So this is what you're going to have. And why are you going to have it? Because I'm going to be in a great place financially. I'm going to understand money. I'm going to have my first house. I'm going to invest in the second one. I'm going to use the other one to pay for the first one. All these types of things I want to hear coming out of their mouth as we grow with them. Because now they're critically thinking, like to your point in the beginning. And we've done our job. You got to feel good about that. And they ain't pay me a dime, bro. They ain't give me a dime. Universally, they did. In the universe, they did. Because they went and told 10 other people, I love Coach. He's uncle. He takes care of me. He doesn't judge me. He didn't care that my clothes weren't clean, that I didn't have deodorant. Let's go get some deodorant, man. Let's get whatever you need. Make sure you're good. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I try to operate like that.
What are your future goals and aspirations for your work in financial literacy and mentorship?
Right now, we're working on generational wealth, health, and security. So just keeping the trust active for the kids and their generations past us, because you can't own earth. You can't own the land. You can't own earth. You can only utilize it and use it. That's what she wants us to do. So you can take care of it. And as far as the financial side, we want to make sure by having the trust, having these land, having these places where our kids and their kids can go if they're in plight, if they're in flight, if they have situations where they may have lost a career opportunity or something, they need a place to stay or need a place to go. So we have to have landing spots for our people. So I want to make sure that what I'm leaving, what we built and what I'm leaving is there for them. And it's already taken effect because the grandkid is already a vegetarian and does her own juicing and all of that already. So you can see the generations coming from my mom died from breast cancer. She didn't have to.
Sorry to hear that.
It's this American food, bro. It's this USA food, bro. So she didn't have to do that. So we swore we're not going to lose any more people from the ills of eating the wrong food. Eat like our foremothers and fathers did for the most part. So we went back to that. And so 25, 30 years now, 3 generations, I can see the fruit of our endeavor. And that's out of our legacy now. So now our kids can evolve to be that, have that God gene like they have, and keep evolving and see what we come up with.
Keep that light.
Yes, sir.
How do you envision the future of financial education and mentorship evolving in the coming years?
We're going to be digital. So everything's going to be digital. I envision us having a chip, a nano type chip implanted on us, where it's attached to whatever digital monies was crypto. I feel like crypto is finally ready to bust out. Because when the government start putting their hands on it, it's ready to bust out. So really, it's going to be digital, 100% digital. We need to get rid of paper money anyway. That's where you can have a lot of trafficking, drugs, and all these kind of things. So 100%, that is it. And you truly it's gonna be a part of you, not a device. Probably you're gonna have little things on you that you can make calls from and do all that too. That's why I see it though.
Well, just so you know, in case you missed it, actually last year, Microsoft has already created that chip.
Wow. See, I did miss it. So, but military guy. So I know, back in the day, we were talking about it then.
Yes.
Right? The Jetsons.
Yes.
Okay? Or Wakanda for real. So,
right.
Yeah.
What advice, the final question. Okay. What advice do you have for individuals who want to make a positive impact in their communities through financial literacy and mentorship?
First of all, you have to get your ish together. Okay. So you should set a goal. So number one, set a goal, because people are visual and things are relative. So set a goal for a certain credit score, first of all, because that matters, right? In this little divide, this digital divide, all that stuff, this matters. So before you can talk about something, you have to prove you can do something, and you have done something, and you maintain that, right? So if I'm gonna talk about financial literacy, like we talked about last night, you have to have a score that's indicative of a person who knows about finances. You know, you can't have a 300 credit score and tell somebody how to do what to do with their damn money. They might shoot you, right? So we need to have just I'm just saying, CZ, just a little bit, right? So we need to understand that if I'm gonna talk about this, and I want to make sure my game is right, and that I totally understand it, done my research, my homework, and then I want to not keep knowledge to myself, because it ain't knowledge if you keep it to yourself. So I need to give it to people. I need to get out and spread it so that I can help. And that means if I tell one person that didn't know something about interest, some person about loans, or some person about how to start a bank account and how to get a credit card and start credit, all you ask them to do is pass it to another person. Could you just take this knowledge I gave you? Could you please give it to someone else? That's all I'm asking. And it gets passed on like Wi-Fi, right? Because people want to be in the know. So make it a game. Got to make it like, man, you got to hear this. Did you know? So and so and so and so and so and so. When you whisper, people think it's important. Mm-hmm. They want to get in. Like, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah. So I whisper when I'm telling something I really want them to know. I talk real low. I start whispering. Right. And they get in, then they go tell it because they think they're supposed to tell it.
Right. So in closing, what would you like to leave our audience with, as well as if you want to leave contact information that they should, for the things that they want to learn from you, how to get in touch with you?
Yes, sir. Thank you. So first of all, I want to say thank you to all of you who chimed in, especially family, friends, coworkers, all of that, partners. Love my man CZ, what he's trying to do and what he's not trying to do, what he's doing and accomplishing. And I appreciate and respect the love of having me on, CZ. That's number one, right? Number two, you can just Google Coach Clement or Top Cat Coaching and Mentoring. My website, ask-topcat.com. And I'll send you whatever you need. If you need this course on financial literacy, I got it. For your teens, you need to know the cards we were talking about, got it. Whatever you need on that level, we got you. And I want you to know that we truly are here for you. My challenges are free. And I know you say there's nothing free. And honestly, it's not free, because I'm going to win your money sign over when you come on that challenge. So if you want me to fix one thing free for you, because you don't trust me, and that's good. I don't want you to trust me yet. I want you to definitely respect what I'm saying, though. And you will do that if you become a part of my challenge. You'll be a top cat for life. Let's go.
Yes, sir. That's what's up. I love that. And I want to thank you for blessing us with your presence, your time, your expertise, and the things that you're doing in your community as you're building. Because as you're doing that, I call that, again, another dot that's connected. And as these dots are connected, as they reach all over, it's going to get to the point that we're going to have this wonderful network that's going to be so widespread that everybody's going to be a part of the resource without having to go outside to get the wrong stuff that's going to bring folks into the wrong place. This is why people like you are so important, and I really do appreciate you for blessing us with your presence. And I hope that you do come back and give us a round two of this, because I really enjoyed this.
Absolutely, man. I enjoyed you too. And hey, you send it my way, CZ. I'm gonna make the call, baby.
That's what's up. And I'd like to thank all of you out here that was watching as well. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, I want to ask you if you would please hit the subscribe button and the notifications button, so that each and every show that we have, if you miss a show, you'll always know that it's there, that you can go to the YouTube channel and you will be able to watch it. You all have a great evening. And we will see you all tomorrow with our next show. Have a good evening.